long or so. We thought as kids it was the longest street. We'd ride our bikes up and down, and of course we'd catch the bus at the end of the street and felt like it was the longest. To us, when you said, how many of you that walked 2 miles uphill in the snow, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches, 11, 12 inches in the snow to school, raise your hand. My hand was raised. I went up a hill. And there was that one time when there was a few specks of snow that were falling that I could say that I climbed the hill and to be able to catch a bus. But I remember again years ago as a kid growing up in that little dead-end street along with my brothers and my mother and father. A lot of events took place and happened on that one little street. You know, none of us really know what's behind the door of a home. We have no idea everything that's happening behind that particular household. On that one particular street, there are multiple things that took place, 7 houses. There were several different people that their families would be messed up. There would be families that would have broken homes. There were 2 houses of the 7 that would burn with fire. I was one of those families that had a broken home. Our home did. My mother and father divorced when I was 12 years of age, and when they'd gotten outside of the will of God. And again, our family at one time, right in smack dab, right in the middle of living for the Lord. My mother and father both serving the Lord in church, and along with my older brother and myself, and of course our little baby brother that was in our family at that particular time. However, God was pretty good to us, very good to us, and even through some difficult trials that our family would go through, God always saw himself faithful. And I remember watching as a little boy the goodness of the Lord. And then I got to thinking about all the other problems, all the other difficulties. I remember again, just up the road where there was a little boy by the name of Stewart that would be killed tragically when I was just a boy. And just a young man. He was just right about to my age, or about a year younger than I, and we would ride bikes together. His brother was about the age of my older brother, and we'd all ride bikes together. And I'll never forget the day that we heard the ambulances or the sirens coming. I'll never forget again the sound that we heard, and my dad taking off running up the street and saying, "You boys stay here. Don't know what's going on, but you stay here." And then hearing about my little friend, Stewart, who was crushed. His little body was crushed, where he and Steve would climb into his dad's pickup truck in a little small incline of a driveway that went up into their house. And Steve got into the cab of the truck, and Stewart was in the back of the bed of the truck. And Steve was acting like he was driving around, and he knocked the truck out of gear. And the truck, as it naturally would do, it just naturally kind of turned into a little backup area, and where the dad would take that truck and back it up in a little turnaround area and then pull down the driveway, and the truck began to turn. And as it did so, little Stewart, scared, began to try to climb off the back of the truck. And however, between where the truck was at and the bed of the truck, there was a very large pine tree, and little Stewart's body was crushed, and little Stewart was killed. Go with me up just a couple more houses from that particular street, and we'd also come to another house where the Belchers would live. There, the Belchers was a young lady that went to school with my brother, who would be killed tragically in a car accident the same time frame that we're living in that area. Just crossed the road, just literally crossed the road from where we would stand for the bus route the bus that would come and pick us up. There would be a man riding his motorcycle on Clay Road and have a horrible accident on Clay Road and have to have his leg amputated when he went through basically a guide wire that was trying to stop again people from going into the lake from off of Clay Road there, just short of where Clarkdale Elementary School was. right beside that particular house is the Odom's house. Now listen to me, we're talking about from my home, from our home, literally only about 200 yards. We didn't live in the city. We lived out in a suburban type of area. But right beside that home and across the street from the Belcher's home was, I'm sorry, it wasn't the Odom's home. I'm forgetting the name of the family right now. But there was a man who was a dirt track driver. And that particular man would build engines, and he worked out in his garage all the time. And I'll never forget, again, the same time I lived there, I'll never forget his son, a boy that went to school with my younger brother, who had to climb through the window of that garage because the doors were locked. And that boy had to crawl through the window and unlock the door. And he saw his father hanging there in the garage where he had taken his life. Same house, I mean, just right beside the man that had his leg amputated with the motorcycle accident, across the street from the girl who had been killed tragically in a car accident. Right beside the girl who had the car that was killed in a car accident is a boy that I knocked on his door as a young married couple that Mrs. Cape and I had been married very long. First place I wanted to go was down our dead-end street to pick up my little brother, take him to Sunday school, get on a bus, and take him to church. And then we started hitting all those doors that I remembered as a kid and the friends that we had had. One of the doors that we went to was where Todd and Todd Cochran lived, and Marty Cochran lived, and Greg Cochran and Tabby Cochran. They all lived on that particular street. And I remember again their mother, Dixie, and I cannot recall and really the name of the father at the time. He was in and out of the house a good bit. And matter of fact, I think he was away from the house more than he was in the home. And I'll never forget just what a tough, rough home that was. And I'll never forget, again, going by there as a young married man, knocking on the door, asking again Todd to come to Sunday school, come to church, begging him to come. And I went week after week and asking him to come. And Todd would say to me, I'll come next Sunday, I'll come next Sunday. And I said, Todd, you said that you'd do that last week. You said you'd do it the week before. And I said, Todd, please come tomorrow. And he said, I'll do it. I'll do it. I said, Todd, listen, I'm not sure you're going to do it. I said, Todd, let me tell you how to know for sure you're going to heaven. Todd, let me share with you how you can know without a doubt if something happened to you today that you'd go to heaven. No, tomorrow when I come to church, I say to you, Steve, tomorrow when I come to church, I'll get saved. I said, Todd, where's your room at? Please tell me where your room is. I'm going to come knock on your bedroom window. And I said, I'm going to wake you up so you'll be there in the morning. Please tell me where it is. He told me where it was, right around the side. Thank the Lord. They had some big dogs around the back along with the chickens and the roosters. But the chain of the dog didn't reach to where the window was. And I went around the back that Sunday morning, first of all, to the door, banged on the door, and rang what to look to me like a doorbell there, and rang it, banged on the door. And I hollered, Todd, come on. It's Steve, his brother Steve. Come on, get on the bus. You promised you'd come. No answer, no moving around. I went around to the side of the house. The same window he pointed out to me was his window. I banged on the window. I asked him to come. I said, Todd, come on. I hear you moving in there. Come on, buddy. We've got about 10 minutes. I can wait on you. Come on, man. Come on, man. And I knocked and banged on the door and asked him to come, but he didn't come. That was on that one particular Sunday, last Sunday, I'll ever have an opportunity to knock on Todd's door to invite him to come to church.